I haven't posted here in a while, and there's actually a reason for that. My life got very, very busy. Not because something went wrong, actually, because something I wanted finally happened. I started a business. And I thought this was the perfect time to come back and talk about something that I don't think ambitious people talk about enough. Sometimes getting what you wanted is the thing that actually burns you out. We talk constantly about burnout from the jobs we hate, from the chores that we do, from a toxic workplace, bad bosses, bad friends, doing work that doesn't fulfill us. But what happens when you're exhausted doing something that you chose and that you love? What happens when the dream actually becomes heavy? Because that's where I have been lately. I still have my career and I started building this business. Now, suddenly there are 1,000 things to think about. My weekend plans no longer involve just reading a book and catching up on whatever show that I'm missing out on. Now it involves inventory, employees, customers, suppliers, marketing, digital marketing, actual money, cash flow, so many things. There are problems that appear suddenly out of nowhere. And then you go home and you realize that your regular life didn't disappear just because you decided to choose another dream. You still need to eat, you still need to exercise, you still need to spend time with people that you love, you still need to sleep, and you still need to take care of yourself. Tough, isn't it? And sometimes in the middle of all of that, I stopped doing things that were part of my normal life. And that also includes sitting right here and making these videos. Ambitious people have a very strange relationship with exhaustion. And I'm one of them, so I know this. So I don't want you to go through the same thing. I know that when ambitious people are exhausted doing something we hate, we recognize the problem. But when we're exhausted doing something that we love or building something that we want, we try to justify it. This is what I signed up for. Or, this is temporary. I just need to push through this month or this weekend, or something like, once I get everything running, I'll slow down. And ambition makes that sound completely reasonable. Goals make that sound completely reasonable because technically you're winning. You're progressing, you're building, you're accomplishing things. So how could something that looks like progress possibly be unhealthy? Correct? Now that's exactly the trap. I used to think burnout meant I don't want to do this anymore. I don't have the energy to do it anymore. But I don't think that's always true. Sometimes burnout can sound like I love what I'm building, but I just can't keep living like this. This is not sustainable. And I'll tell you how I realized that. We live in a small town and the business is in a different city that is an hour away. And yes, I love the thrill of a new business. I love setting things up. I love optimizing. But the drive, that's just taking everything out of me. And I was at the point where we decided, okay, this is not sustainable long term. So you see how I'm saying that I do love what I'm building, but then I cannot keep going like this. So those are two completely different things. And again, like I've always said, you don't need to completely abandon your dream or a goal because you can't do it sustainably. You might need to change how you're doing it or how you're carrying it. But I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Because I want to build a successful life that requires to disappear from my own life, I don't want every new goal to consume or to take up so much space of mine that was there before the dream. And I definitely don't want exhaustion to become proof or evidence that I'm working hard enough. So I've been trying to change 3 things. And I want you to take note of these. Number 1, stop treating everything like an emergency. It's not the end of the world. You're not building a rocket ship. Stop treating it like an emergency. This is very, very difficult when you're building something. You are going to get 100 calls from different people saying, this is running out. Things are not working. The fridge stopped working. The AC stopped working. The lights are not working. We don't have a generator. The ice creams are melting and so many other things. Everything feels urgent. Something will always need your answer. And your brain immediately is going to go, okay, I'm going to handle it now. But urgency is addictive. So your nervous system starts operating like your entire life is a series of fire. Which one do I put out next? What's next? What's burning where? So I've started asking myself, does this actually need me right now? If it doesn't, then I ask myself, is it going to give me anything out of it? Or is it just going to exhaust me? Can I deal with it now? Or do I have to deal with it some other time? So when I ask myself those questions, if it's a genuine, yes, you have to do this, now, or you have to get this done right now, you have to fix it, I do it. If not, I let it be. I sleep over it and then I get to it. And you have no idea, a surprising amount of times the answer is actually no, this is not urgent. Number 2, protect the person, not the goal. This is where we high achievers get things backwards. We protect our calendar, our schedule, the meetings, the deadlines, the customers, the actual business, the reports. And then whatever is remaining goes to us. Then we think about, do I really have the energy to do something? And sometimes there's no energy to do anything. So the person that's building this life actually is the most important asset here. And you shouldn't be forgetting that. If that person becomes exhausted, resentful, and disgusted or disconnected, then the entire system is going to eventually break down. So I am trying to bring back small things that make me feel myself. I went on a run today, a 6-kilometer run. I woke up in the morning, had my breakfast, and I decided, okay, I'm going to run no matter what, because it had been 3 weeks that I actually exercised and I was craving it. Eating properly. Yes, you might take 20 hours in a day or how many ever hours to work on your business, your work, whatever it is, but make sure that you're eating properly. I have been thinking about creating, just like what I'm doing now, because this fuels me. So I decided to carve out time from my evening on a Sunday to record this podcast episode for you. Time where I am not solving something. I have now literally learned how to tune certain things out of my brain. Not because suddenly I've become perfectly balanced. I'm way far away from it, but because I realized that my life cannot permanently become the price that I pay for my ambition or my dreams or my goal. Number 3, build systems before you build more goals. I've mentioned about this multiple times in my book, Unburnable Ambition. And this may be the biggest lesson. If you take anything out of this episode, then it should be this. Your systems should work for you, not against you. And if you're an ambitious person, you know that you love adding another project. You love another income stream. You love another goal, a challenge. And you love just adding and creating. But you should also know that every new thing is going to require maintenance. And eventually, you are just not building anything. You'll just be maintaining 50,000 projects that you decided to build on a random Tuesday evening. So now I'm going to ask you a different question. Instead of asking yourself, what else can I accomplish? I want you to ask this. How can this run without requiring more of me? Automate things, delegate things, create a process, schedule it, or remove it entirely. You know, when things are really not working the way you thought they were supposed to, then I think it's time to think of a backup plan or an exit plan. The goal here should be that you need to have a business or anything that you're working on where you're not needed 500% of the time and that everything's not an emergency. And maybe this is the stage of ambition that nobody prepares you for. At first, success is proving that you can do difficult things. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you've already done 100 of them. You try to work harder, you take more risks, you push yourself, you learn, you build, you fail. But eventually, these challenges keep changing. The complexity is going to change. And you're just going to go to the next level of it. But your next level shouldn't be asking, can I handle more? Can I take this more? It should be, can I build more without sacrificing more of myself? And that's a completely different skill. It's going to require a lot of thinking, a lot of pondering over what your lifestyle is, what you want it to be after these 1,000 projects that you've taken on. And I'm learning it in real time. I am still ambitious. I still want to be fit. I still want to build things. I still want to create things. But that also doesn't mean that I want to sit 2 hours in a car driving and focusing and trying to multitask listening to a podcast or an audiobook through that commute from my business to my house. I still want to grow. I want to travel. So that's what I've been thinking lately. And I've realized that not every accomplishment should result in exhaustion. And I think that's the whole point. It's to learn how to pursue more without constantly needing to give yourself up. So if you've been exhausted lately while building something that you genuinely wanted all this time, I want you to remember that being tired does not automatically mean that you're going on a wrong path. It might mean that you are walking a path that needs to change eventually. It might mean that you need to stop carrying every piece of it yourself. And most of all, you don't have to abandon that dream. If you're a high achiever, an entrepreneur, a professional, or somebody who's just trying to build a bigger life without burning yourself out, then don't forget to subscribe. Because I think that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here. How do we stay ambitious without losing ourselves in the process? I'll see you next week. As always, keep growing, keep glowing, and be yourself. I'm your host, Sheekha Singh, signing off. Bye.